2006 BMW E46 M3 CS, finished in Interlagos blue. It really is a stunning example. It was nice before, it's even better now. The owner of the car has treated the vehicle for its 18th birthday. It's 2006 with just over 30,000 miles on the clock. It's received various treatments, including a 2-stage paint correction to level the paint and getting it as nice as possible, really. Full interior treatments, leather care. There was even some additional wheels off work and treatment to the front arches to help protect against corrosion. The E46 is quite common for that, as well as Medesta coatings throughout. If it's your first time to the channel, hello and welcome. The idea of these episodes is it's a place for me to document the process of what's involved. It's a case study of the before and after, the journey of the vehicle, of what it's received, and the intricacies of the process involved. It is going to be a long episode, so just bear that in mind. Get yourself comfortable, grab a drink. Stay tuned for the owner's reaction at the end of the episode, and enjoy. The E46 can be notorious for bubbling on the arches, some corrosion and rust. There has been some work at the back end of the car already that's been dealt with, as well as some underbody work. However, the front arches, the owner was conscious of protecting and cleaning these as best possible at this point. So the arch linings were removed, and as you'll see later in the episode, protection is applied to help this going forward. we doing? Right, we're inside now. Clean, decontaminated, tar removal, clay bar, mechanical smoothing of the surface, essentially lifting any stubborn contaminants from the body. Look how clean and nice all of this is. Still work in progress. Now we go on to the paint inspection. Now, what I'm looking forward to doing is all these little bits. Look at all this polish residue under the handle there. Gonna get some of these in there and get all that cleaned out, and oh yeah, oh. Probably save the rest of that for a bit later on, but it's a nice example, but it can be better. Right, where do we start? I'm gonna start on the offside wing. I'm pretty confident I know what's going on here, but this corner, we probably saw this in the early footage before the wash. Look at all this, there's a lot of abrasions, many abrasions here on the top of the wing. I'm looking at that A-pillar as well. In fact, I can see it from here, between the two fingers. There's a blend mark. So this lower portion has been painted. Look how heavy things get down here. So a lot of neat, tidy 1-inch polishing to be done there. A little bit of damage on the mirror base. But I reckon this lot, haven't I seen somewhere the C-Tech connector for the battery? Where did I see that? I mean, that's the charge port, the positive. Yeah, I reckon that is probably a battery conditioner, a trickle charger that's been allowed to chafe perhaps on the body as it goes into the engine compartment. Well, this is very clean. I've not been under here. It's not booked for an engine bay job. That's where I've seen it. It's here. It's in the boot, of course. Oh, and the car's booked for a 2-stage correction. All that should come out. It's been a while since I've been on an E46. There's some good shapes and some good flowing contours and shallows to get into. You've got the ledge to get under there, tight across the vehicle. You've got the little lip on the top. It's not like a Carrera door, which is just one flat panel. There's lots going on here. You've got getting under there, getting on the top there, above and below the actual bump strip itself. All of which I will be getting tight and neat to the edges with as best correction as possible. A bit more toothpickery work in the lock there, some for later. Yeah, more polish residue. Bit of damage on the skirt there, that's a shame. I do have an Interlagos blue touch-up, so the worst areas can be touched over, of course. Fuel filler cap, there are some fingering marks here. Obviously the nature of the operation, you have to touch the paint, so that's just 18 years of use. Although that said, I do believe the car's probably had some treatments. Well, we know it's been polished, there's residue in places. It's had some work before. It really could be a lot worse. Let's just say, it can be better. Down the side of the driver's door, missing paint in the bump strip there. 1 or 2 tiny bits of paint required just to go on the corner there. As we get into the deep corners, the tricky to access areas, the defects are a bit more obvious. You can see up here is pretty good, but someone somewhere hasn't really been down in that channel before properly. Residue around the light cluster. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh dear, that's me. And here, that looks like when the bumper's been polished, the backing plate has kissed the paint here. That's something to be very mindful of for everybody. Some work required there then. Oh, what's going on here then? This has had a blow in. This corner's rough. This has been painted.
Oh dear. Oh wow. Bit of a smart repair on this near side rear corner. You can see the blend there. You can see it coming down here. Not too pretty. An area to be mindful of when the polisher comes out. Really flat finish. I pointed this out to the owner as they dropped the vehicle off. Ooh, interesting. What's this? Hello? Bit of paint missing on the corner of the arch there. And just above it, it is heavy with like abrasions and rubbing marks, so maybe the rear quarter's seen paint as well. Who knows? We'll do some paint depth measurements shortly. Bit of a chip there just behind the door. Pretty nasty touch up down on the lower near side skirt. And the scratches back there as well, of course. Bit of hand polishing required down there. Nice little chip. Bit of road rash to be expected, 30,000 miles. This wheel arch has been hit with a rotary, it looks like, in the past. Front bumper is pretty swirled up, potentially. Yeah, this has been painted too. Pretty mottled finish. See around the light how it's all textured. That's not a factory finish. Deeper marks thrown into the mix as well. Do what I can. Plenty of chips as well at the front. Here's the blend mark again on the driver's A-pillar, and whatever's gone on here, it continues up on the roof. This is all, there's been some rubbing going on. Don't know what's going on here. Is this just polish residue, or is this plenty to get stuck into, that's for sure. I'm probably going to do some experimenting and some test combinations, polish and pad combinations, and I will report back a little bit later. Okay, well, that isn't too shabby. That is the front wing. Cut and partially refined. I say partially, it will get done again. It's just had a very quick once over just to sort of check correction levels and if the combination is refining down satisfactorily. But the paint is pretty thin in places. Original paint, and it's, as you can see, oops, on the low side, so question is, has the rear quarter So with that in mind, I'm using the smallest of blobs of Diamond Cut 3000, very coarse, aggressive. but for the most part, Rapid Cut 4000. It feels a bit smoother. It is only a 2-stage minor correction, and the results on the wing, woo, it's a lovely colour, isn't it? Happy with the results there. So that combination, I will continue a blob of 3000 with 4000 refined. I am using the blue HDO Lake Country microfiber cut pads, which they are on the higher end of the cut scale. I could switch out to the orange as per last week's Ferrari 512 paint correction project. But there have been a couple of areas where I just wanted to do a bit more here and a bit more there, a bit more cut to chase that sort of 70 to 80, if not more, % paint correction result. Okay, onwards. Right in the shadow, damn you love, damn you lie. The before near side rear quarter. We have again a test refined section on the door, and then as we progress forward you'll see that start to diminish into during. So cutting marks, haze, micro marring, quick refining pass, happy with the test there, and then once again the before. Got to get tight down into them bottom corners. Calling it there for the first day, 7 PM. Haven't really got a great deal of progress, if I'm brutally honest. A lot of the time was spent under the front arches and then doing the touch-ups. So plenty to get stuck into, plenty to look forward to. Back in the morning. Okay, right back to it. Where were we? Top of the door. Also, special delivery. We'll come on to that later. seen that before, but my suspicions were correct about the potential of paint on this arch with this little defect here. Did I show that on camera earlier? I'm not sure. But spotted down here, lower down there is a blend. Now, what I reckon this might have been is potential corrosion. There was a lot of goings on, if you remember, underneath here. That was cleaned up with some hand polishing, but the blend mark there matches up at the front here. Might do well to get this on camera, but see the line just above my torch, and then there's a blend mark there, which goes all the way down. In the paint thickness readings, there is 30-40 microns difference there as well. But with the exception now of the mirror, side skirt, and the roof rail, and this top shoulder, this is yet to be tackled. That is this side cut. Struggling with the 1 inch. The 1 inch does churn the paint up somewhat. You can see all of the tidying up I've got to do in these top corners before we go on to refining. I've pretty much accepted on the rear quarter that to go from cutting to refining, the combination I'd like to use for refining is extremely mild. The difference between the cut and the refining is too drastic. It's too much of a big step to expect the refining process to clear up this sort of mechanical damage. So I'm cutting, I'm polishing, which is going to clean up my mechanical mess, and then eventually the refining should be a breeze. So here then we have a GT4 RS, a brand new model, just been delivered this morning on trailer. Shark blue in colour. New customer, new client to WhiteDetails. It's booked for a full body PPF installation starting next week. Full body installation with Suntech reaction. Head over to WhiteDetails on Instagram to see more of this when it happens. And then the Supersport, the Ducati, is back. There was a niggly issue with this. The traction control and ABS light continually flashed. I bought the bike second hand for a decent price, let's say. Second hand, 2021, 2,500 miles, decent price, but there was a fault. Let's just hope it's a speed sensor, something simple. Got it booked into my local, got the service, fluids and filters. They were struggling to get it rectified and fixed, so it had to go to Ducati. Turns out, motorbikes have an ICU, which is like a car's equivalent of an ECU, the controls, the brains, the ICU. Don't even know what it stands for. It's the brains of the operation, but basically, long story, the ICU on that bike was missing. It didn't even exist. Quite alarming. Something's happened somewhere. HPI clear, all of that. Checked all the paperwork. Looked all good, but actually, it is now all good. So I do have anti-wheelie control. I do have ABS. I do have traction control once more. So she's back. And it would be nice to do some polishing on it at some point, and possibly even PPF. That is the rear hatch tailgate all cut now. Going up onto the rear deck now. We've got some healthier paint thickness readings up here. Lots of other places have been down into the early 90s, the 80s, some even 70s. There are some more obvious scratches which would be nice to chase out. And can you see this abrasion? This is sort of goes off at a diagonal. If I follow the light there, you can see it's quite long. It shouldn't take too much to lift, but something clearly has been resting, stored on the paintwork there. Otherwise, the rest of it is pretty in keeping with the rest of the condition of the car. Quite a nice one here as well, actually, on the corner. It's going to be 5-inch, pretty much half, splits it 50-50, the 5-inch, 3-inch, around the perimeter, 1-inch, 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 1-inch. I'm looking forward to getting stuck into this. This will make for some nice 50-50s. That A pillar, that side's much improved. Not quite as bad as the offside, but this near side was pretty bad as well. I think we've seen some footage of this already. Let's get to it. we go, end of day 3, pretty much. Both sides of the car are now cut with the exception of the wing mirrors and the near side skirt, the lowest side skirt, that side still needs to be cut. Today I've been up on this half of the roof, the A-pillar. There is still a blend mark here. I'm not going to push that too hard there. The majority of the bumper is much improved. Upper edge, super sharp. Still got the lower valance to sort around the exhausts. Rear quarter, door underneath the handle, around the handle. The handle itself is yet to be polished. Side skirt down here, not yet refined, but looking better. That's interesting. This lower section has had a test refining. Oops. Above, no test refining, so look at the difference in clarity. Sharp, somewhat hazy and cut up. Sharp, hazy and cut up. So that leaves the mirrors, the side skirt, front bumper, bonnet, this half of the roof still to machine. And then we go on to the full refinements, coatings and the full interior. I love it. I get home at night and I find random cocktail sticks in my face. There we go. Well, that seemed to be a little never-ending, but that is the cutting. It does look well, I must say. That is the cutting now complete on the CS. Which brings me to wanting to start the refining process. However, the treatments I've got lined up for the wheel arches, I feel as though that's all worthwhile doing ahead of time, worthwhile doing now before the refining starts, just so we're not too precious about the surrounding paintwork, because at the end of the day, it's going to have a refiner pass afterwards anyway. So, built Hambers, Dynax UC clear film anti-corrosion wax to be applied. Only the front arches, the rears have been dealt with elsewhere already. It's mainly this edge we're concerned about, the corrosion starting here, so I'd just like to run a bit of a hand polish across this lip just to make sure that's clean and prepped, and then some sort of reverse back masking tape to bag up the bodywork just so we can without getting it everywhere and protect the paint and of course the disc. And I'm not sure if this stuff is potentially hazardous and dangerous and potent, so I guess we'll be wearing a mask.
Let's give it a go. It's a bit of a first for me on the channel. Amber Surfex HD has been used to cleanse the most part underneath there, and now we're going to go forward with Dynax UC. Dynax UC provides a low film thickness see-through protective shield. The firm wax-like film is rich in unique metal-seeking corrosion inhibitors that stop existing and prevent new corrosion. Dynax UC can be applied to bare metal or painted surfaces, in fact anywhere where a discrete and powerful inhibitor is required. Dynax UC is completely safe to use on the vast majority of paint coatings and is ideal where dark coloured waxes or underseal would detract from the painted finish of the vehicle bodywork or underside. So the idea is less is more, so 3 or 4 light coats, dust coats. The wheel arch treatments last night went okay. Wish I'd have probably done a bit better job of the prep, including the floor. Bloody hell. The floor's a bit sticky and tacky. I mopped it and cleaned it as best possible, but in the future I would at least lay some of the film down on the floor. But otherwise, it seems a pretty solid, a decent product. I emptied one of the 3 tins. I bought some spares stock. I gave each corner, bearing in mind it's only the front 2, the rears have been done with something similar in the past. 4 or 5 coats each. They look pretty smart. It's like a transparent wax. So there's no real sort of visual. You can certainly feel that it's got something, but it all dries. It dries out to a non-tacky finish within 70 to 90 odd hours, I think it says. Final firmness after 24 to 96 hours. And now I've just picked up the can, my fingers are sticky and tacky again. Couldn't be happier though with the finish now that the refining has started. This is a wonderful example. The owner is going to be over the moon. There is a 3rd blue car on the way. That will have to go through next door. You'll see that very shortly. It's a return visit and I will explain why very shortly.
as with the correction itself, the refining, albeit now complete, it's taken some time. You can whiz around with the refining sometimes. In this case, I just wanted to make sure everything was finished down and sharp. So there we are. Orange light polishing foam HDO polishing pad with a combination of Kosh Chemie yellow and purple. Right, I fear that this episode is going to be dragging a bit by now. It's 5 PM, Friday afternoon, Friday evening. Full interior still to follow, coatings still to follow, glass, exhaust, toothpickery, that sort of stuff. Got to get the arches back in the front there, I've got to coat the calipers. So I feel as though the rest of the episode will fly by now, but that is the most of the work, the important stuff, the most transformative bits complete. Interior, I mean look, it's pretty special as it is, it's pretty clean, isn't it? Steering wheel, that's been retrimmed, that is a new covering, so that's why that looks so nice. Initially we were just going to be doing the front 2 seats, just the leather treatments with Modesta. That's a mechanism I've not experienced or seen in a few years. But actually we're going to go for the full lot, so whilst it's not terrible, the carpets are going to be done fully. And then of course the rear seats as well look like they've never really been sat in, but where possible I'll try and get 1 or 2 50/50s. I feel as though the front seats, certainly they are dirty, they will benefit from the leather cleaning, so you'll see a 50/50 on the armrest perhaps, and then, I don't know, pick up on the coating process tomorrow. Ooh, look what else is here. Through next door, 812 Superfast. I'll take you around that more and explain why it's here later. I feel like I've been waffling for a little bit too long now already. So, cup of coffee, onwards for another couple of hours, and that is Friday done. Finish up tomorrow, which is Saturday. It's 7:15 now in the PM, and to be honest, look at this. I mean, hang on. Door cards, very clean, very nice. Don't know if you saw in the footage earlier, but this was a bit sticky and tarnished and dirty, as was this in the bottom. I've just left a wet, smudgy mark there. That's going to need a wipe. Still got the carpets to do. There's 1 or 2 sort of brown stains down there. Rear bench, again, surprisingly, come up quite well. Considering it wasn't dirty, you probably saw the 50/50 there, the 50/50 there. I hate doing the 50/50s, it's not ideal. Doing a straight, exact divide on leather, it's a bit of an issue. Trying to get it cleaned up on the other side, but it's one for Instagram. Passenger seat, fresh, looking nice. And this basically is the rinse water from the leather and the console, the door cards, the plastics. This is all pretty nice and clean, not much required up there. A couple of scuffs and kicks on the plastics. So carpets to follow, Modesta LPS 01, LPS 02, 2-part leather protection. LPS 01 goes everywhere, 02 goes on the hard wearing bolsters and the sections that get all the abrasion. One for the owner. Tomorrow, the Bizzle Spot Clean Pro, the wet back will come out. That's going to attack the carpets, the floor mats, and then its coatings. Modesta BCO4, BCO6, the calipers, wheel arch linings. Get the exhausts polished up, glass inside and out. Simply lovely. Wheel arches successfully back in the front there. Infrared curing underway for BCO4. Carpets extracted. A bit of work by hand, but on the most part extracted with the Bizzle. LPS 1 applied, not yet received the second part. Good Lord. So the BMW has received, it's a multi-stage machine polish, a two-stage paint correction to remove the worst of the damage. You've seen localized, deeper scratches being dealt with here and there,
lots of that going on. The majority of the week has been spent polishing, and then there's the Modesta systems over the top. The wheels have been treated once before already elsewhere. The calipers, the paintwork, the leather and the full interior fully treated now. So the best part of 6 days invested into this one, albeit today is Sunday. There was a couple of hours out on Tuesday, a couple of hours out on Friday, early finish on Saturday. So all in all, let's say 6-day booking to complete the work. So for me, I am now doing a full PPF installation on the Shark Blue GT4 RS, and then some rectification work on the Ferrari, having had the rear quarters painted by Ferrari because of some corrosion. And I must say, without saying too much, it is shocking. It's not a good finish. It's not good. I'm not impressed, but that's a story for another time. Make sure you're subscribed to the WhiteDetails channel for more content like this. The comments down below are fantastic. I appreciate the engagement and the support, the positive words, but it does show in the back end who's subbed and who's not, and 70% are not subscribed. So be sure to click subscribe to help the channel to get further, to grow, and to engage with more content like this. All the support is greatly appreciated as always. Find WhiteDetails over on Instagram for daily behind the scenes and updates. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already. And until next time, take care. See you soon.
Goodness, some difference.
It's a stunning example, mate.
That's called Judas way, isn't it?
Very much so. Yeah. Grab this and walk around with that, and just, it's so pure, such a colour.
It is a really nice colour.
It's nice, yeah. So I'm super happy.
It's amazing how dirty the leather was.
Yeah, yeah. And once you work, once you get a clean section.
Still hasn't lost its smell.
No, it still smells like an E46.
That's fabulous. Excellent.
Happy?
Yes, very. Right.
Looking forward to seeing outside space.
Transfer here.
You should have got.
Oh yeah.
That looks mega, doesn't it?
It does look great.
pretty. Brand new looking.